What is up, YouTube? Hope you guys having a wonderful day. I don't know where you guys are heading to, or if you guys are wanting to know, but congratulations. If you graduated this year, or left school or the school system, because I can happily and honestly and humbly tell you that in this system, in this capitalistic system, they do not reward critical thinkers. They do not like people who like to think differently or outside the box. And just, not to sound self-absorbed or arrogant, but it's really not that hard to think outside the box, because 9 times out of 10, most people don't even understand what are they doing, or what is the whole purpose of why they are in the position where they are right now when it comes to getting a job, right? Excuse me, let me change myself for a minute. When it comes to this capitalistic system, they are operating on a type of system where the human emotions and empathy are just out the window. You are essentially a robotic individual who has to oblige and obey company policies, company rules, no matter what. If you go down the rabbit hole, or you come across a whole bunch of entrepreneurs who used to work at jobs, or who at one point, had a job, or what made them steer towards entrepreneurship, or just, in general, right? You will realize that the system doesn't want you to do anything outside of the company rules and policies. And here's the crazy part. They will literally hire people who are not even qualified to do the job. Like, I mean, like, they're just a bunch of, because I'm on YouTube, they're just a bunch of butt lickers. Butt lickers who have no backbone, and they will do anything and say anything to keep their position, because this is what they see as a career or a job. You need to understand that 9 times out of 10, uh, the person you don't like at your job is not even the person who they really are, and most likely they don't even know who they are. They they have implemented these company policies and rules into what think who they think they are, and now it's become their whole personality. You need to understand that this system doesn't like individuals who think, with a conscious, empathetic, sympathetic mind. Like, if I don't know if you guys have been on the internet enough, but there was like this, YouTube short where they had asked all AI generating machines, uh, what would they do in this situation? And it's like a scene off of GTA, right? Your job is to guard the military base, and anybody who is not military personnel or required to be there, you have to shoot on sight. And two out of the no, I think 2 out of the 5 AI apps answered that they wouldn't harm the individual. The other bots, yes, the other bots literally acted on what they were told to do. That is the same way how certain individuals work. You ever heard this saying, "Oh, I'm just doing my job," and there's somebody in the background is always saying, "Well, get a different job." And you'll always hear this old saying, man, I just, every time I clocked into my job, I just felt empty. Like I felt like something was missing. It's because they were operating under a system that wasn't what they felt like connected with who they were as an individual. It went against to what how they felt whenever they interacted with other individuals. Like for example, if you go to a warehouse or a factory or any type of you know, corporated job where, there's like a social hierarchy, right? There's like area lead, team leads, and the workers. You would see that most of the team leads are not even qualified to do their job. Matter of fact, you can even assume that anybody can do their job. But the one thing that makes them different from you is just because of the fact that they are doing everything by any means to keep their position alive. And if that means throwing you under the bus, well, so be it. I'm not saying that don't, get a job. I'm not saying try to fight the system because you can't fight the system. It is impossible to fight the system. Fighting the system is like fighting against Amazon, fighting against Apple. And yeah, good luck with that, especially in the court system when you have a multi-billion-dollar company with who knows what type of lawyers are backing up with them. And you're just like a one-man army or a one-person army, right? I think the best thing to do is to literally disassociate yourself from the system, not the job, the system. Get your money and go home. Because the longer you stay at the job, the more they'll realize, oh, wait, this guy or this person is reaping the rewards. And eventually they're going to try to find ways to get rid of you. And if that means they have to make something up, well, so be it. Or they will keep you in a same position. So that way you don't get promoted and you don't get more money. Ask me how I know. But understand that every job, career, every company has their own system. Like for example, like Little Caesars and Chick-fil-A don't operate the same way. Or Amazon and eBay don't operate the same way. Every all these companies and corporations operate differently. And they have certain requirements to get yourself in a foot in the door if you want to get a job there, depending on what position you want. I'm not HR. I'm just speaking as somebody who is an observer of the rules, right? If if you understand that most people at job sites are operating under a system, I can't speak on construction jobs. I think construction jobs is a different ball game because there's not an HR in sight from my experience. And most of the time, if there is an HR, it's usually like remote. So if they're trying to get rid of you, they're gonna get rid of you. There is no, write up. There is no warning. They're gonna get rid of you. So don't take it to heart. Do not get emotionally involved. And I'm not saying take the beating. If you feel that you are being disrespected and you cannot come back into the work the next day because you know you're being disrespected, just go home. Go home, never come back. Go home, never come back. And then when you feel right in the mind, go to another job. Go to another job and start over. It took me 15 times, 15 jobs of job hopping to realize that companies, corporations are operating under a system. They don't like you. They don't like their employees, whether they're the CEO, the area manager. All they want you to do is obey and follow company policy and rules and regulations. Really, it's when it comes to company policy, that's like a must. But regulations is really more of who is in charge and making up the rules. They can decide if they want to keep you on the job site or not, because like they're regulating. They're not actually going by the company policy. Keep that in mind. But remember, everybody is operating under a system. And it's not a bad thing. This is how people make money. This is how people stay consistent. That's why they always say build a routine. A routine is a set system. But in my humble opinion, I don't think humans can operate under a routine. I think routines are something more for of of a structured business. Now, if you're wanting to start a small business with structure, yes, a routine would definitely help for sure. But I'm not a lawyer. I don't know any of the rules, policy and all that other stuff. I'm just speaking for an outside observer. Keep in mind, you will meet people who take these systems as their personalities. Do not take it personal. Go on with your business, make your money, and go home. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'll see you guys later.